Just the agenda for today, I'm just going to cover the different versions of Bluebeam. So today's not really about sort of telling you where to hit the buttons and things like that. It's really just exploring the different versions. Why Standard might be the only version you need. You may not need eXtreme or CAD, and you may be able to get away with Standard. Standard does have most of the features that the others do. There is a CAD version, so we'll just explore that quickly as well. Also going to the eXtreme version, just really focusing on those different tools and features between those three versions. I will touch on and demonstrate OCR, bulk processes, and also a quantity link, which are available in the eXtreme version. I'll also show some workarounds, just so where if you don't have the eXtreme, how you can do some of the sort of things that you would want to do with the eXtreme versions, and obviously any questions that come up. About Cloud A2K, so we're a company which fosters innovation, and we deliver both software and hardware solutions, consulting, training, development, and also managed services. We do have highly knowledgeable, and we like to pride ourselves at industry experienced staff. So people that have been out there on the tools, engineering and designing structures. So from the AEC field, infrastructure, and also manufacturing sectors. We enable you to deliver your project outcomes and differentiate from the competition. A little bit about Bluebeam. So go digital and transform the way you build, and will be well over 2 million design and construction professionals now worldwide using Bluebeam every day to mark up, collaborate, and get things done. Was founded in 2002. Probably has well over 2 million users around the globe now. This slide is probably getting a little bit dated, and used in over sort of 130 countries, and 90% of the top contractors in Australia and New Zealand utilize Bluebeam. A little bit about myself. So I do have a structural engineering associate diploma. I've been in the industry for over 25 years, and I have worked at a lot of tier 1, mid-tier, and even smaller consultancies. I have been using Bluebeam since 2014. I am on LinkedIn, if you do want to have a look at my profile and some of my work history there. I'm a certified Bluebeam trainer, certified Revit professional, and do a lot of presentations in the industry. I'm not going to go on about the user interface at all today. Really just exploring, again, that power of the PDF and how it is project efficiency and collaboration solution built specifically for the construction industry. Will allow you to increase your revenue, reduce your costs, and minimize your risk. Utilizing all that metadata, bookmarks, 3D data, etc. I'll now jump into the demonstration. The first thing I'll do is I'll actually just pull down, this is the comparison site here, and it really goes through the differences and the key features of the different CAD, Standard, and eXtreme. You can see, I'll just go quickly through just the number of ticks you can see there. So you can see that Standard, obviously CAD and eXtreme. So eXtreme has all the features of all of them. CAD has the features of Standard plus some extra, and Standard just has the standard features. You can see just by the number of ticks that Standard does have most of the features of the other ones. So it's only really some of the additional features, namely sort of how to create the forms automatically, OCR as well, which is quite powerful. So that's like optical character recognition, where it can bring in like a scanned document and still recognize that text. Also batch process your hyperlinks, which works quite well, especially if you've got large document sets. Sort of, I'm talking sort of 400 plus drawings, even like 50 plus drawings. Obviously, being able to batch process those hyperlinks will save you a lot of time. Also, the one-click PDF creation from both AutoCAD, Revit, and SolidWorks, and also the ability to create that 3D PDF. Yes, and also sort of being able to redact PDF content, particularly for text documents, that can be quite valuable. Some of the other features, just going quickly on some of the extra ones here. So again, that automatic form creation for 3D PDFs, OCR, one-click document creation. Now, the difference in price between the two, you're probably looking at around about $350, roundabout for Bluebeam Standard. It is about $100 dearer for the CAD version, and the eXtreme one is $600 extra. Now, I do have eXtreme. First things first, how to find out which version you have. Now, you can simply do it by seeing if you do have OCR available, which is an eXtreme only feature. And you can also, if you've got a lot of the batch properties available, that is an eXtreme feature. Now, technically, how to see if what version you've got, you can come under the review tab and hit on about, and that will tell you what version you have. Now, why standard is ample? Really because it does have most of the features, and there are some workarounds that you can also use to use the features of the others, but sort of probably not do it quite as quickly and automatically. One of the things you do need to look at, and I will just bring up the administrator. So the Bluebeam administrator, you do need administrator privileges on your PC to enable that to be used. You'll see now that you need to activate the plugins. So it has a lot of plugins for Revit, the Microsoft products, also Advanced Steel, AutoCAD, and Civil 3D, etc. So you do need to make sure that these plugins are activated. If you don't have administrator privilege on your machine, do make sure that whoever does activates these plugins. They do need to be activated for it to work. One of the important ones as well, which I'm going to demonstrate, is the quantity link for Microsoft Excel, which is quite powerful. I'm going to jump into Revit, and we might be thinking, well, wasn't this a review demonstration and not a Revit demonstration? One thing I do want to show you that you do have under the CAD version. So this is specifically in the CAD version. You can see under the add-ins, I do have my Bluebeam options here, and I can directly create a 3D PDF. So I'm just going to hit this button here just to show how it is a one-click process. You can see how it is acquiring my license first of all. It will ask me to save it, so I'll just save that. I don't want to save it there, actually. I will save it under my Bluebeam, and Bluebeam webinar, and save. And this will create that 3D PDF. You can see it's quite quick. So it does it very quickly, and it will open it up, and I've got my 3D PDF. Now, this is a great way to be able to give people those Revit models quite quickly. So you can see here that it's a fully functional 3D PDF. I can create sections as well, and I can even drag these sections like through the building so that I can see the different floor plans at each level, for instance. So you can see there, I can see the ground floor plan. I can also start to take this section I've cut as well. I can also change that feeling through the properties. I'm not going to go right through and do everything, obviously, because you know, it's going to take too much time. I do a webinar where I have really explored these 3D PDFs. You can see there I've got a section, and I can drag that through as well and see a lot of items straight away. One thing I can do as well is you can actually access all the metadata. So that if I click on that stair, for instance, we can actually see the metadata of that. So I can see the exact number of rises and treads, even the height, the stair width, the tread depth, even an element ID, where I'm able to use this element ID to actually select that back in Revit to make amendments to it. So 188927, if I come back here, go to manage and look, that 188927, I think it was off the top of my head. Yes, and I can select it. And you can see now if I do that command, I've actually selected that stair. So I've got that stair here selected, and I can go in and change it, make whatever amendments I need. So it really has that great interoperability with Revit. It's got all the metadata. You can even go through the tree itself, like your selection tree. There is a 3D selection tree here, and I can even select out the railings. And you can even start to get the quantities and the like off that. So I can get the lengths, and I can see all those glass railings. And just doing that in my head, you can see I've got just over sort of 15 meters of railings. So you can straight away start to get out those live quantities directly from a 3D model. It's quite valuable. In the eXtreme edition, so I'm just going to close that down now. In the eXtreme edition, you actually have OCR as well. So I'll just demonstrate that quickly now. Now I can open an actual PDF, of course I can open a PDF. I can open the image file. So I'm just going to go to that webinar, and I can see, I can bring up the image file, and I can actually bring this scanned PDF document here and open that up. Now you can tell that this is not in vector format, it's in a raster format. In other words, the more that I zoom in, you can actually see that all that text becomes pixelated. So you can see that it's really not great to work with. If I did a text search, for instance, if I search for beneficiary, I'm making sure I can spell it right. And if I did a search for that, because this isn't like it's just a scanned document, it's just pixelized, you can see that it actually found 0. Now what I can do, and again, this is an eXtreme feature, I can come down and run that OCR, run that on this document, let it know. It does change sort of the accuracy and how different it works depending on if it's a text document or a CAD document, etc. So I'm just changing that to text. It's going to detect the text, and I could detect vertical text, etc. if I wanted to, and just hit OK. And that's running the OCR on it. Again, you can see how it's quite quick. That is only a reasonably small document. And then if I do actually search in this for that, you'll see straight away how it's got those results. So I'm able to go through and search basically a scanned document for all these bits of text. I could highlight them all and even apply a highlight to all of those, and you can see how it's picked it straight off. So quite a valuable thing, especially if you're doing a lot of stuff with text documents. We can do bulk hyperlinks as well. So I'm just going to open another document. Again, this is an eXtreme feature. So if I do open up my combined PDF here, so this is that same project. You can see at the moment that it is about sort of 5 different pages and scan through. Now you can see at the moment that it's not hyperlinked. Now with the CAD version, you can automatically create those hyperlinks through Revit. So there is in that one click, like under that add-in, and where I can create a PDF. Now I can change the settings here as well through Revit, and I can make sure that it's going to enable those bookmarks and create that file. I'm not going to do that right now, but that would automatically create those bookmarks. Now, because I have eXtreme on this, I can create those same bookmarks here in bulk. Now, yes, you can always do them individually. Obviously, it'll take a little bit more time to do them individually. So I can go to my batch and create a batch hyperlink or batch link and create a new one. Add the open files. And I'm just going to remove both of the ones that I don't want. So I'm just going to deselect that one and this one and select next. I'm now going to do it on the page region. So I'm going to select that page region. Come down and just select the drawing number. Now, when you're selecting these regions, it's always a good idea to select just a bit larger than the text. Try not to include any of the lines and that, because that can interfere with it a bit. But obviously, I just want to cover enough of it that if either the drawing number was slightly out of register, or if obviously it went to drawing like a 1000. So just make sure I cover that. I will get a little preview there of the what I found, and okay. It'll come up. I can now generate those hyperlinks. Again, there are some settings I can change, which I'm not going to worry about. And you can see that it's found the 5 different pages. And I can now run that hyperlink. It has created 8 hyperlinks, finish and close. And what that now will enable me to do is, as you didn't see before, I can now click on that drawing number. And if I click on that, it'll take me directly to it. So you can imagine this is only a small set. It's only 5 drawings, but obviously on a large drawing set, this would be quite valuable. I can go to the sections here as well. You can see it's got that A on 104 on A04, or detail, sorry, section 1 on A04. If I select that again, that'll take me straight to that drawing and that section. So you can see how it's quite valuable, and will link through to all the different views. So quite a good feature that. We can add stamps as well. So I can batch, and I can batch stamp this drawing. So I can create my, like what set I want to do it, pick the stamp I want. So let's just pick a revised stamp. I can pick the position. So I'm just going to put it like there, for instance. Obviously I could move it X and Y in the X and Y direction, and I can anchor it to a different point. I am just going to leave it as that at the moment. And I can set this to go on every page. So I'll just do it on all pages and hit OK. And you can see how that has put the revised stamp on each page. I'd probably prefer to move that down a bit. Can edit it as well. But that has put that stamp on each sheet. Now, a bit of a workaround for that. So like saying, if you did only have CAD and you wanted it to go on each sheet, you can simply use your tools and stamp and add that stamp on. So I'm just going to add a preliminary stamp and select that point there. You can see again how it has brought that straight across, but obviously it's not on every drawing. A way to work around that is I can come back to that final drawing, select the stamp that I just created, and I can actually apply that to all pages just through like the standard workflow. So select it, right click. Remember, one of the mantras to have whenever you're working with Bluebeam is, if in doubt, right click it out. Right click will generally give you all the options you can use. I can then apply that to pages and simply come in here and apply it to all pages and hit OK. And you'll now see that that has transferred that stamp to every single page. So that is a good sort of workaround without having to apply that batch stamp. One of the other things is quantity link. So again, making sure that you did have it on in the administrator. It doesn't need to be on an administrator. We can basically get these takeoffs, these flooring takeoffs that I've done, and take them straight into quantity link or straight into Excel. So I'm just going to close that. I am going to go to Excel now. This is just a blank, just a plain new workbook I've created. So just a new one. Just go back to it. So I can select a cell. Like obviously you would probably do this in a table where you had a heap of questions, etc. So yeah. Okay, hopefully everyone can hear me fine. Just got a message. Good idea to make sure I check that early on, but everyone should be able to hear me fine. Thank you. If you've got questions, if you are trying to, I think I could allow you to unmute yourself, but if you do, just write them into the chat. I will catch those questions. So yes, I would obviously want this to be like my sort of data sheet and have a lot of Excel information in here. This is just a blank workbook, and I'll be able to right click and I can access quantity link. So I'm just going to create that link. Always a good idea to save it first. I probably haven't saved it in a while. You can see that little asterisk at the top. I probably don't need to worry right at this moment, but yes, always a good idea to save it. Now add a file name. So I'm going to add, point it to my folder, hoping that I can find that same flooring takeoff, which is this one, and open, and select it and hit OK. Again, I'm not really worrying too much about the point and click aspect of today. It's more just to show you these features. I can then get the volume. Let's get the area. I probably want the area more so. And I can choose to get it of the subject of the floor, and I can actually get the label here and choose that I want it to be, let's pick the concrete. So I'm going to get that area of the concrete and hit OK. And you'll see that I'll get that link straight out, 43.35 square meters. Now, this is a live link. It's a quantity link. It will stay linked to this Excel sheet. So if I do come in here and I create another new concrete area, and let's just make it reasonably big. I will just, I know that that is an open to below area, but let's just assume it's concrete. I will do that flooring takeoff and put that through there. You can see how that is, again, 126 square meters. So it was 43, I believe, and you can see how it's jumped straight up. So without even having to be prompted, it's straight away changed that data. So you can see how it's 169. And again, just to put another area in, so it was 169, and if I put that area of concrete here, you'll see how that'll jump up to about 175. So you can see how that's that live link. Now you can get the information out to Excel. So it just won't have that live link by being eXtreme. So if you did want to sort of, like I said, a workaround for that to get that information out, what I can do is go to my markups list, and I can export this information. So I can export a summary. I'm going to export it in CSV format. Flooring takeoff, and I can actually choose what columns I want to choose. I'm going to deselect most of them. Get my, obviously I want the label and I want the area. Let's get me the cost as well. So I can actually get that cost out directly. If I have created that as a custom formula, I have created it as a formula in here. I can save this configuration so that next time I know, like, that'll be what I'll get out straight away. Filter and sort what I want to get out. So you can see how I can filter from the columns that I have selected. So I've got area, cost, and label there. And that is the only information I'm getting. So I'm just taking all that across. Output, CSV, I'm just going to save it to there. I will give it a different file name. So I'll just put at the back web so I know which one it is. I'll get all that to come out. And I'm going to get it to open the file after creation. Now I have got my standard, like when I open a CSV, it's automatically directed to open with Excel. So you will see how this will straight away get that off in Excel. Probably should have got out all the 01s, but you can see here, it's actually got all this data straight out. So you can see I've got the cost, what it is, and the concrete. So you can see the associated concrete. So it's pulling out that 126.04, and you can see it's pulled out that quantity straight out. Now the issue, not the issue with this, like obviously that's fantastic, but and I could group it by the different quantities as well and get all that out. The only thing is this won't stay live. So if I come in and do another sort of area of concrete, I would need to re-export it. So that's the difference between what is a live link, which will constantly stay updated, and just the sort of, for want of a better word, the dumb link that's not actually live linked to the project. I can actually export. Another way to do items like this is I can actually export tables out directly into Excel. So I do have this door schedule here, for instance. And I can actually export to Excel. So I can export to Excel, and I can actually export a page region. And I'm just going to grab that door schedule there. And I'm going to export that to Excel. We'll just call it, let's just call it export for want of a better description, and save. And that will export that table out to Excel. So you can see I've got the table. Sure enough, I probably need to delete that row. And you can see how it's exported that door schedule directly out to Excel. And it all is actually in like format where I could then change the values as well. So I could just, like for instance, so you can see how it's all just brought that straight out. I can actually go the other way as well and then simply select and copy paste. So I can select all this and control copy and take that straight back to Excel as well. This isn't a live link or anything though. It won't stay updated. It's purely just getting that data in and out and transferring it between the two. So that's another bit of workaround for that. That is about all I had to cover today. So that really concludes the demonstration as such. Quite happy if anyone's got any questions to answer. Do let me know. Do put some questions in the chat if you have any questions. But there again, the 3 different versions of standard, CAD and eXtreme. They all do have slightly different price points. Just before I jump out of this, I might just like to re-emphasize that I'm quite happy with standard. I probably, you know, again, if I was dealing with large drawing sets and or creating a lot of forms as well, like using Revu as well for really like creating forms and doing a lot of text documents, I would really want to have the eXtreme version. If you're doing a lot of CAD stuff like creating your 3D PDFs, etc., I would definitely get the CAD version. It's only like about $100 cheaper than standard. So if I was like a CAD or a draftsman, I would definitely be looking at getting the CAD version. And obviously eXtreme, if you're really starting to deal with large drawing sets, like sort of 50 drawings plus and combining, you'll get a lot of those extra features that are quite valuable to have in the eXtreme version. We are your Bluebeam provider, Cloud A2K. We do discoveries, sessions, rapid starts, integrations, Blueburst, and we can create manuals as well. So discovery is one of the workshops like I really like doing. So we can come on site or we can do it remotely, where we really discover what your current workflows are and sort of show you how you could implement and engage your staff more to use Revu to really speed up that process and get those efficiencies out of it. We do rapid start as well, where we can train your staff quite quickly to be able to engage them and to use the Bluebeam and use it to its full potential. Integration, like doing office standards, etc., which we can create. Blueburst, I do a lot of these. I quite enjoy them. They are sort of short, sort of 1 hour, like lunchtime sessions that we can do, 1 to 2 hour sessions, where we will concentrate just on a couple of those workflows and really use that to go through and engage your staff and to really get them to use it and to standardize how they are doing it. And just any questions, if anyone's got one. I did see a question come in. So with the 3D PDF, does the user need CAD or eXtreme to get the cross sections? It is only needed to create the 3D PDF. All versions can access the full model, so they can all access that model quite easily. Standard, CAD, eXtreme, doesn't matter. Remember that Bluebeam as well does have a free viewer. So that's where creating that 3D PDF, like I said before, having that available to all people, you could give them a download link to Bluebeam. That would allow them to download it. They could even, they would get like the 30-day trial, but they could also use that in view only mode to do everything they wanted to do with that 3D PDF. So you can access all that metadata, etc., just with the 3 viewer. It's quite powerful. Another thing just to point out before we do conclude this is the Studio, Bluebeam Studio. Bluebeam Studio comes with all versions of Bluebeam. It's quite powerful. This will allow everyone, does have an Australian server now. So if anyone does have like sort of a lot of government sensitive jobs, you do need to have it on an Australian based server. They won't allow that. You do need that residency, that data residency. We can sign in. Tell me it hasn't forgotten all my information. It should just do this automatically. I won't worry about it now. I don't want to really show everyone my email and password. It should just sign in automatically, but it hasn't done that. So the Studio as well is where you can put a PDF up, and everyone, even if they aren't a licensed user of Bluebeam, everyone can participate fully in a session. So everyone will have, if you do have a session on Studio, you have this hosted on the cloud. Even if people don't have a full version of Bluebeam, they will be able to make the markups, etc., and reply. They can use everything that's in just an unlicensed version. The reason that Bluebeam do that is they really want you as almost that sort of head contractor to have that ability to be able to give it to your plumber, to your piping expert, to your structural expert, etc., and they can all comment and participate fully in that session. So you can have the confidence as that head contractor that everyone can access all that information. Bluebeam on tablets. That's a good one, and it's probably a reasonably difficult one to demonstrate. Bluebeam on tablets, it does have, there is an app for Windows tablets, and it does work okay. Like if you do want to use it remotely on an Android system, it works quite well as well. You are much better off trying to use it through Parallels. So trying to use the desktop version of Bluebeam. Does work quite well. I could probably give you a bit more information on that if you want. I'm probably not really set up for it at the moment to sort of show it, but it is really made for using on site, and it does work quite well, and you can use all the features. Usually the best way to access it is through like a laptop. On the tablet, you can use just a normal one and you can use it in tablet mode. But it does work best on like sort of with the desktop app. So if you do use Parallels or not the app, if you do sort of log into your desktop from site, it'll work quite well. Probably can't really talk too much about that at the moment, just because I don't really have all that in front of me. So that does really conclude the presentation. So hopefully you got a fair bit of information on those 3 different versions and why and where you would use those 3 different versions. Please reach out to your Cloud A2K representative. Do send us an email or just reach out through the phone number and we can help you out with anything you want. This will be recorded as well, so you can access the recording. Thank you for your time, everyone. Cheers.